Well, let's remind you of what the BCCI has finally said. It's issued a statement in the Virat Kohli abuse fiasco and reprimanded the star batsman, if you can really call it that. In a release issued by the new secretary of the board, Anurag Thakur, the BCCI has informed that they have been in touch with the team management in Perth and advised them not to repeat such incidents in the future. As far as Virat Kohli is concerned, he has escaped punishment but has been asked by the board not to repeat such behaviour and maintain the dignity of Team India. The board also has acknowledged the importance of the media in popularising the game of cricket and wants both parties to move on and focus on the ongoing Cricket World Cup. This entire imbroglio, remember, revolves around Virat Kohli apparently under mistaken identity abusing and rattling off a huge amount of cuss words at a journalist, thinking it was another journalist who had apparently reported on him and his girlfriend Anushka Sharma. All right, with me in the studio here is India Today Deputy Editor Kunal Pradhan. With me in Mumbai Live is Rasesh Mandani, our correspondent. Rasesh, a break from tradition, perhaps a kind of departure, but is this the best that we can expect from the BCCI at this time? I mean, let's remember we're in the middle of the World Cup. Things are delicate. Is this the best that the BCCI could do at this point?
Perhaps a day before in an important game, Shiv, this is what we could have expected. It's different from what we've seen in the past. The precedent where we've like I said earlier, we've reported in cases where there used to be zero media manager, no media communication. At least the board has taken this issue up. But one still wonders why in a private meeting between the journalist concerned and the player could not be arranged, or the player did not want that or was not comfortable with. We're not asking for a public apology for Virat Kohli to do that. But in a situation where he's given out expletives in front of the cameras reporting and come down to this situation with the loss of temper clearly, why is it that he's not comfortable in a private meeting with the journalist concerned and say a kind sorry and an issue to move on. That would send the right message. But at least in that sense, the secretary taking it up with the back channels, with the media organizations concerned, the BCCI issuing and press release where they've stated that the player concerned should maintain the dignity of the team is in itself a departure from the past.
All right, we've already got our first caller, Suryakant, calling in from Patna this evening. Suryakant, what do you think needs to happen?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
This is the right question which you are having it on your channel.
Yes.
These sports people, they should think that they are the national icons. And their behavior, their attitude, and their sense of acting upon is being copied by many. So Virat Kohli, who is really a damn good batsman and has got followers all across the world, should keep his cool and calm and just focus and let his irritations and whatever anger he has got to be sent in the field only. We love to see him having problems in the field.
Good point, good point. No, excellent point made by Suryakant in Patna. Kunal, keep your aggression for the bat, keep your aggression for the field. You're a good batsman, people love you, people look up to you. Nobody wants to see this ugly side. I think that's a very fair point by cricket fans everywhere. Kunal?
Yes, Shiv, and I think, in Virat Kohli's case, this is now becoming a perennial problem. It happened on his first tour to Australia when he, flipped the crowd because they were booing him. It happened again during this Australia series where he was being over-aggressive repeatedly against the Australian players. And it has happened again now, this time to a journalist. And, not getting into the whole media, cricketer sort of, divide on this. The point simply is that, Virat Kohli is considered somebody who's being groomed to be a future India captain.
Right.
And I think it's very important for him to understand that an India captain does not entail only scoring runs on the ground and, taking wickets and setting fields.
It's a much larger
role. You're an ambassador for the Indian team.
Right.
There are times when people in your team will behave badly and it will be your job to calm things down and smooth things over.
So you've got to be the one. You can't be the one actually, breaking the peace.
Absolutely, and it's very critical.
Usha Rao is our next caller calling in from Bengaluru this evening. Please go ahead, Usha Rao.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Celebrities are always treated with kid gloves in our country. It is no different in this case involving Virat Kohli. I think Kohli is turning out to be the enfant terrible of Indian cricket, This is not the first time that he has got into a spat like this. In fact, he's a serial offender as far as his off-the-field misdemeanors go. You know, the latest incident where he indulged in a invective-laden abuse of a journalist cannot be condoned at any cost. More so because the journalist who was at the receiving end was not even responsible for the write-up about Virat's private life. Cricket has long ceased to be a gentleman's game. Gone are the days when gentlemen cricketers like Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, Sachin Tendulkar and VVS Lakshman were known as much for their impeccable behavior on and off the field as for their cricketing talent. Cricket today has become a highly competitive and therefore some amount of aggression on the field can be justified, but under no circumstances can it be justified off the field. Virat Kohli should be told that being a good human being is more important than being a great cricketer. I think a more stringent punishment should be meted out to him for his insolent behavior.
Madam,
this will serve as an object lesson for other young cricketers.
Madam, not only do I, many people agree with all of your views, and I can see most of our panelists this evening nodding, including Shivani, who I'm going to go to in Perth in just a moment, but I can tell you that it feels great to hear such passion from a viewer. The fact that you feel so strongly about this is really a tribute, to the Indian cricket fan. Shivani, the Indian cricket fan is not pleased at all. They say that, Virat Kohli is turning out to be quite troublesome, and he should be punished more than what the BCCI has said. Perhaps an emotional response, but it's an important side, Shivani.
As much as it pains for me to say this, whether he should be reprimanded more or punished more, and as much as maybe we may talk about the fact that this is a different generation of players that we're dealing with, they're not the same generation who grew up and played in the same era as even Sachin Tendulkar and Rahul Dravid, who are fairly recent players.
Yeah.
Such behavior at any level, Shiv, cannot be condoned, and I think that's why we are seeing such very strong reactions.
Right.
In the past we've seen cricketers and journalists not only enjoy a better relationship, they've had their fair share of fights as well. A cricketer has said something to a journalist has said something to a player. But for Virat Kohli, in today's day and age, in today's, such a media savvy age, to do this in front of TV cameras, to go on about, abusing a journalist for 15 minutes, you can't even pass it off as a mind freeze.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really needs to know better than this. No matter what your problem with the story, you cannot do this. And the fact that he is the Test captain of India, he's the future one-day captain of India, only adds to that responsibility that he needs to take. Let me just point out here, we've discussed already how the team manager, the media manager, handled this entire fiasco. But let me also point out that there were players in that balcony of that practice area when this was going on. And Ravi Shastri was around, MS Dhoni was around, R. Satish was around. I wonder what is happening. I wonder if even if Virat Kohli is a serious offender, a serial offender, why is there no interruption to such a behavior? Because it went on for quite some time.
Very good point.
The team collectively also needs to look at this.
No, I think it's a very good point you make, Shivani, that this wasn't a momentary lapse of reason or a mind freeze. This is like a sort of invective-laden barrage that continued for 15 to 20 minutes. We've got a caller, another caller calling in from Ranchi, Rahul Agarwal, I believe. Rahul, what's on your mind? What do you think needs to happen? Is everyone making too much of a fuss? Or is this something we need to pay attention to?
See, I have a contrary view. There is comparing him with Sachin and Lakshman, but I think every individual is not same because people are different. Every individual is different. So and I think media is very intrusive nowadays, whether it is for film stars or cricketers. If you don't respect an individual's privacy, you just can't lecture about that a person has a tolerance level, and everybody has not the same tolerance level.
Okay, right? So you're willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. You're saying that he's a great player, but not everyone is alike. It's unfair to compare him with, say, a Sachin or a Dravid. Kailash Wag is our next caller. Kailash, go ahead. What's on your mind? What do you think needs to happen?
Yeah, you know what, Shiv?
Yes.
See, we don't have any personal grudges against anybody. This Mr. Virat Kohli, if you observe his career, not only him, you and me also, sometimes the success goes into the head, and it makes us arrogant. And you rightly said this thing was happening for 15 or 13 minutes rather. So this was not a spur of a movement. And in fact, he should be learning from Sachin Tendulkar. He was there with Sachin, Rahul Dravid, Lakshman, how they handle themselves, how they behave. The problem is the success is going in their head. and they have girlfriends and boyfriends and everybody traveling. They think themselves like a Superman, you know, and we make them Superman. Unnecessarily we make them Superman. 1 century, 10 matches, no century, 1 century, and you make them a superhuman being. So we are at the fault. So the success is going in their head. It is making them arrogant.
Okay.
And they have to improve because they represent.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you, Kailash. You're saying it's an arrogance that needs to be struck down. A message needs to be sent out. Boria Majumdar, our consulting editor, is on the phone line with us, and I want to get his perspective in on this as well. Boria, like Shivani said, fights have happened in the past between journalists and cricketers. This one is an unseemly one because it happened on camera. We live in a hyper-connected age, social media, all of that. There's a lot of sort of awareness about what really happened. Also, the question I want to ask you is, the animal spirit, the sort of very aggressive sort of personality that Virat Kohli has is very much part of how people actually, associate with him both on and off the field. So is there a sense right now that Virat Kohli might be affected by all of this?
3-4 things here. I was hearing what Kunal was saying. One, Virat is the captain of India already in Test cricket and will be the future captain of India in ODI cricket. This is unbecoming of him. It's as simple as that. I mean, if he wants to be captain of India and wants to leave behind a legacy as a sports person, he can't do this, period. Second, Virat has done this. What does the team management do? There's a Mahendra Singh Dhoni who's captain. There's a Ravi Shastri who's team director. There's an Arshad Ayub who's manager. There's an R.N. Baba who's media manager. R.N. Baba sends a 2-line release which says no abusive language was used.
Correct.
Now, for the want of a better word, I will say he's not revealing the truth. I don't want to say he's lying, but he was not revealing the truth. Now, what does that tell you of the team management? Is it a clear disrespect of the media? Do they not take the media seriously? Do you think scribes who are covering the tour are unimportant?
Important point, yeah.
Should go unpunished? This is ridiculous. Either the R.N. Baba is lying or Anurag Thakur is lying. Anurag Thakur's media release today clearly says Virat Kohli needs to be reprimanded, dignity should be maintained and upheld, and the media is an important constituent. So, reading between the lines, he's saying something is wrong.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli was off the mark. And R.N. Baba just 24 hours earlier, who in fact has forwarded Anurag Thakur's release to all of us, wanted us to believe that no abusive language was used. Some action needs to be taken against the media manager.
Right.
I can tell you, having been in Australia, if you go and say hi to a player, the media manager comes rushing and saying, I will take your accreditation away. This is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I mean, the player and the media.
Okay,
Players and the media are two parts of the same thing.
So the BCCI, So the BCCI statement this time is a break from tradition, as you said earlier as well, Boria. Chandrasekhar calling in from Hyderabad right now. Chandrasekhar, how do you see this entire controversy playing out? What would you like to see happen?
See, from ages, cricket is known as a gentleman's game. But however, I think being Virat Kohli is a cynosure of Indian team, he should maintain certain decorum. As one of our panelists said, he is a brand ambassador of our country. So you would have maintained a certain calm, and maybe he would have left it to the journalist rather than behaving that way.
Okay,
we all agree that he is a very great cricketer, but his character also matters at how he.
I don't think there's a better way to put it. We all love him. He's a great cricketer. We respect him. But he has to remember that he's not just a cricketer. He's also a role model. He's also, like Kunal said, an ambassador for the game. He's being groomed as a future captain. So this isn't just about, anybody's backyard. You can't just go around doing this. You definitely aren't a private individual when you're out there representing India at the World Cup. We're going to slip into a very quick break. I can tell you that we're getting hundreds of calls on this issue. No guesses why. It's an emotive issue. It involves, one of India's most popular sports persons.